Hello, Portugal. Hi, Malta. My name is David, and I welcome you to this show. We're back to take a look at what's been happening in Portuguese news these past few days and to keep in touch with our beloved country. On the agenda, a new way to apply for a tax number. How much do you pay for rent in Portugal? Maybe a lot of you are asking yourselves that question. Controversy surrounding the Portuguese central bank. The hunt for travellers is on at Ryanair. We'll see why. In football, the Portuguese summer saga has just come to an end. Let's go. Roll the intro. Vigo, speak with a space at the edge. We operate the story at the gate. We emerge for more. Practical information for foreign citizens. Whether you are a resident or not, you are required to have a tax identification number. That's the famous NIF that you're asked for every time you go shopping, and of course, that's if you're subject to Portuguese taxation. And the Portuguese Tax Authority specifically warns that you now have to apply either through the Portal das Finanças website or by making an in-person appointment at one of the finance offices. From what I remember, when we had to do it a few months ago, I think the online application wasn't possible yet, so that's the new thing, but it's not that simple, as we'll see. For the online application, you need a legal representative. You can't do it yourself if you're a foreigner. For example, a Portuguese citizen has to do it for you, or a lawyer, or even a legal expert, for instance. They are the ones who submit the application, and for that, they have to provide copies of several documents. First, your identification document, so your ID card or your passport. Next, if your address isn't listed on that document, you'll need another document that proves your address abroad. Then, you need the representative's identification document. And then the power of attorney with signatures that have been notarized. Unless you go through a lawyer or a legal expert in that case, notarization isn't required. Like I said, it's not that simple. Another option is to make an appointment at a finance office or at one of the Saitao branches, and either go there yourself or send a representative. I'm showing you on video exactly how to book an appointment, so it's either online or by phone. In person, the required documents are always the same. If you go yourself, you need to bring your ID card or passport and a document that proves your residence abroad. If you go through a representative, they must bring their own identification document and a power of attorney. I'll put links on YouTube and in the podcast with the detailed procedure. How much will you pay in rent to live in Portugal? That's the big question. In Greater Lisbon, the median is €1,316 for 100 square meters, and in the centre of Lisbon, it even goes up to €1,600. That's the most expensive area in the country. So, you might be wondering which region is the cheapest. Well, in that one, it's €367 for 100 square meters. And that's up in the north of the country, around Trás-os-Montes. These statistics come from the 23,000 new rental contracts signed between January and March of this year. And what about rents? Are they going up or down? Compared to the last month of 2024, the national median has dropped by 2.5%. On the other hand, compared to the same period in 2024, that is, the beginning of the year, there's actually a 10% increase. Where do these data come from? From the National Institute of Statistics in Portugal. They've just been published, actually. There's even a map to compare the sub-regions analysed by the institute. Two clarifications, though. The institution grouped everything together under the term family housing, so there's no distinction between apartments and houses with land, for example. Finally, let me remind you that we're talking about the median, which means that half of the rentals are at a price higher than the ones announced, and the other half are at a lower price. It's a statistical measure that's less influenced by outliers than the average is. €192 million, the Bank of Portugal signed a contract to buy one of the buildings in this monumental project in the heart of Lisbon. The goal? To establish the institution's headquarters there. This is one of the major controversies of recent weeks in Portugal, and it has just been resolved in the past few days, as we'll see. The construction is underway and is scheduled to be completed by the end of 2027. Personally, I really think you can see the Portuguese touch in this project, if you know what I mean. That's not what's causing the controversy. Why have political parties voiced criticism? Because of the price, 192 million euros. And that's the price for now, because we all know public projects tend to go way over their initial budgets. Who knows why? Second, because the contract was signed with Fidelidade, a project developer and one of the biggest insurance companies in Portugal. And who started the project? Well, it was Mario Centeno, governor of the Bank of Portugal. When questioned by the media, he responded to the criticism. Here's what he said: "The new building is meant to bring together all the institution's services, which are currently split up and scattered across 4 locations, in order to increase efficiency and save money." According to him, the plan has been under review for a year and a half, and the information was passed on to the Portuguese government, which made no comments. Finally, he assures that the chosen project was the least expensive one. As a result of all this, Mario Centeno's term, which was coming to an end, was not renewed. He had previously served as Minister of Finance in the government of the socialist Antonio Costa, before becoming president of the Eurogroup. Now, the government is led by Luis Montenegro from the PSD, a party generally considered to be on the right, and he has decided to appoint a new governor. Who is it? Alvaro Sanchez Pereira, a former minister in the PSD government, in fact. And this is now drawing criticism from left-wing parties who believe that he does not have the right experience in financial matters. Final question. Will the new head of the institution maintain the 192 million euro project that has already been signed? Well, we'll see about that in the coming weeks. If you're traveling to Portugal by plane, well, this information will interest you. The airline Ryanair is cracking down on oversized luggage. It offers bonuses to its employees every time they identify luggage that doesn't meet the prescribed measurements, the dimensions. And according to Sick Noticias, each employee receives €1.5 per intercepted passenger, with a limit of €80 per month. And that's not all. The Portuguese media outlet reports that Ryanair might increase these bonuses. And it can cost you a lot. Ryanair charges extra fees of up to €75 if you exceed the limits. Sometimes, that's more expensive than the ticket itself. And the airline might not be the only one with this practice. In the UK, EasyJet has been called out for having the same policy. In the middle of summer, you can imagine the checks are even stricter, so make sure to double-check your luggage or choose a more lenient airline. On the sports side, Sporting is losing its star striker, Victor Gyökeres. Apologies in advance for the pronunciation. It was the saga of the summer, and now it's coming to an end. The Lions and the Sellers are letting go of players for at least €63.5 million, according to the latest figures published in the media. The Swede is heading to Arsenal. With the Gunners, he'll wear the number 14 jersey, the former number of club legend Thierry Henry. Gyökeres was one of the key players in Sporting's championship success. To give you an idea, he was the league's top scorer with 39 goals last season. And that's simply more than double compared to his predecessors, who are second or third in the top scorer rankings. In a completely different field, Portugal finished 28th at the Universiade, the World University Games. The Portuguese delegation won 5 medals, 2 bronze, 1 silver, and 2 gold. Portuguese athletes shone in long jump, swimming, judo, and mixed doubles tennis. Well done. Before we say goodbye, here's the agenda. What to do in the coming days in Portugal. I've picked out the Festas Gualtirianas in Guimarães in the north for you. They take place until August 4th, featuring parades, folklore, fado nights, concerts, and flower battles. Plenty to have a great time. On the other side of the map, in Portimão, the Sardine Festival is held from August 5th to 10th. For 5 evenings, you'll have access to the best of Algarve cuisine, as well as entertainment and concerts. And there are some big names, Rui Veloso, Pedro Abrunhosa, and Registancio, among others. Thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure to see you again. If you want to support my work, well, leave a comment on this video, subscribe, share, it's up to you. You know what to do. If you have any suggestions or ideas, you can send me an email at the address I put in the description. That's all from me. I wish you a great week, and see you next time.